Okay, let's talk about what researchers actually know about leisure, starting with the question that seems obvious but turns out to be surprisingly complicated. What is it? For a long time, scholars tried to define leisure in two ways. First, as a category of activities. Think things like sports, hobbies, and travel. Second, as leftover time, that is, the hours you have after work is done. Both of those definitions have a real problem, though. Think about it. Is grocery shopping leisure? What about cooking? What about going to the gym because your doctor told you to? These are things people do outside of work, but most of us wouldn't call them leisure. And on the flip side, some people experience deep satisfaction, real joy, doing things that look like work from the outside. So researchers landed on a third definition, and this one has held up across decades of study. Leisure is defined by your psychological experience of it, especially by your sense of freedom and choice. That sense of freedom and choice has a technical name you'll use throughout this section: autonomy. Autonomy means you're the one deciding. You're acting on your own values and interests, not because someone is making you or paying you to. In leisure research, autonomy is considered the essential ingredient, the thing that separates a truly restorative, meaningful experience from just filling time. One key researcher here is Seppo Isoahola, whose work has shaped a lot of what we know in this field. He and his colleagues found across multiple studies that the single most important factor in whether people experience something as leisure is perceived freedom, the feeling that you are choosing to do something, not being forced into it. The second most important factor is intrinsic motivation, meaning you're doing it because it's rewarding in itself, not because you're getting paid or because someone told you to. Here's a concrete example of why these matter. Researchers found that something as pleasant as being out to dinner with friends can stop feeling like leisure the moment you feel obligated to be there. The activity didn't change. The setting didn't change. What changed was the person's sense of autonomy or their sense of freedom. That shift is everything. This is also why the same activity can be leisure for one person and not for another. A long run might be pure joy for someone training because they love it, or a grind for someone who feels like they have to do it. The key is not the run, it's the feeling behind it. Now, this research also connects to something called intrinsic motivation, which comes out of a broader psychological framework called self-determination theory. When you do something for its own sake because it's fun, engaging, or personally meaningful, that's intrinsic motivation. When you do it for a reward or to avoid a consequence, that's extrinsic. Leisure at its core is intrinsically motivated. The moment you slap an external reward or obligation onto it, you can actually undermine the experience. Researchers have also identified several dimensions along which leisure varies. These dimensions have real health implications. One of the big ones is active versus passive. Active leisure means you're engaged, physically, cognitively, or socially. Think hiking, playing an instrument, having a deep conversation. Passive leisure means you're mostly receiving, like watching TV or scrolling a feed. Research consistently shows that active leisure is more strongly linked to well-being, purpose, and life satisfaction. That doesn't mean passive leisure is worthless, but there's a meaningful difference. Another dimension is serious versus casual leisure. Serious leisure, think of someone who volunteers regularly, trains for competitive events, or dedicates real time to a craft, tends to build identity, skills, and meaning over time. Casual leisure is more in the moment. Both have a place, but serious leisure tends to be a more powerful long-term contributor to health and meaning. And there's one more dimension worth naming now because it comes up in the health research a lot: social versus solitary leisure. Having friends and companions for leisure activities is one of the most consistent predictors of psychological well-being in the research literature. Social connection, especially freely chosen social connection, is a huge part of why leisure matters for health. Here's the bottom line from the research. Leisure is not just what's left over when work ends. It's a psychological state defined by freedom, choice, and autonomy. Those qualities are what make it a health resource. That definition is going to be your foundation for everything else in this section, so make note. In the next video, we're going to look at a story that brings all of this to life in a way that may feel more relatable than research articles.